We have saved the best for last, my friends. We are being joined now. It has been a while that we have been being joined by the best in the world. The number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world is joining us right now. Yes, he does not have the title. Yes, he is not the champion. At least as of now, he might dispute that fact. But there is no doubt that on April 23rd, UFC 197, Jon Jones will return finally to the cage. He'll be meeting his longtime friend, Daniel Cormier. Can't wait for that. We're less than a month away, but right now he is joining us on the phone. What a pleasure, what an honor this is, what a privilege to be joined by the one and only Johnny Bones Jones. John, how are you?
Good, man. What an introduction.
Oh, this is
Thank
great.
you.
This is great. This is a treat. It's always great to talk to you. Wow, it was great to see you once again at that press conference, John. It was nice to see that smile. It was nice to see you back in your element. But who would have expected that kind of reaction from the fans? Did you expect? I mean, that was the story. We're still talking about that press conference and the dynamic and how they cheered you and the reaction to DC. Honestly, did you think it would go down like that?
No, I didn't. Honestly, I had no clue what to expect. But I definitely am really grateful for all the support. You know, it's been a long time since I've been around, and you know, I definitely felt missed, and it made me feel really good.
Did that whole experience kind of give you a bit of a shot in the arm? You were sort of a month and a half away from the fight, but it feels like you've been training for the last 6 months. To be back in Vegas in front of fans, people talking to you, familiar faces, did that kind of take the training camp, you know, like if this was a car, to the next gear?
What was the last part?
You know, just
for the next year.
Yeah, like did it sort of up things for you? Did it give you a little more motivation? Just, you know, sometimes training camp, I'm assuming, can be a little mundane. Did this kind of up things a little bit, just being there?
Yeah, definitely. It was. It had lots of value. You know, definitely encouraging to be around the fans and to see the level of support, to have their support. You know, and also to just be around DC and to see how much of a head case the guy still is. You know, it definitely seemed like all the boos and the fans' opinions really messed with him psychologically, and I hadn't seen Daniel in so long, just to see how emotional he can get so fast. It was interesting to see.
Why do you think they reacted to him that way?
You know, it could be many different things. I think in some ways, you know, I think people are rooting for me. I think people want to see me do the right things, and I think they want to see a comeback story. They want to see, you know, right now I'm trying to represent a message of you know, coming back from things and never giving up on your dreams, and I think I represent hope in a way. You know, I'm a guy who was really doing a lot of great things, and then I ruined a lot. I crashed and I burned, and I could have took my life and allowed it to keep spiraling down. But instead, you know, I'm fighting to not only get back the things that I've lost, but I'm fighting to live my life better than I did before, doing it sober and taking things more seriously. And my idea for myself is to ultimately be someone that can be looked up to by kids and motivate other people and inspire other people to clean up their lives and to change their lives around. That's what I'm trying to represent. And I think somewhere I became a representative of hope for some people. And I think DC is kind of representing that one person who's telling you can never be sober. You can never be this or that. You know, you can never get your life back and be on track. I think he's just the antagonist. And, you know, a lot of people have failed themselves and let themselves down. And they draw strength seeing somebody else do the right things and turn their life around. DC's that one teacher in school was telling you can't do it, you can't be sober, you won't be a good person. Your life is over, you don't get second chances. And I just think DC's trying to make himself come across as a better person to me, playing the high and mighty role, and I just don't think it's going over well with the fans. I think he's in the way of a comeback story, and a comeback story maybe people want to see.
After our discussion in November, one of the big takeaways was, I think, that, wow, this is a new Jon. He's finally being honest with the people. He's telling it like it is. And people were curious to see how the next few months would go until the fight. And then there was a bit of a speed bump, pardon the pun, where you got some tickets and people were freaking. People thought the fight was going to get canceled, that, you would have to, face some charges, your probation, all that stuff. And you went on Instagram and we're just talking about tickets here. Was that a reminder that, this thing, again, you're still not out of the, you're not out of the dark here. A little, slip up here or there can derail all of this. How did I know what you said in the Instagram video, but how did you react to all of that?
Well, in a way, I felt like the media and the world showed me its hand. I had been doing a lot of the right things. I had my main thing that I'm most proud of is just, I'm not the party animal I used to be. And I've lost a lot of friends because of that. My wife's a lot happier, and my coaches and business partners are a lot happier. I'm a lot happier. I'm living healthy for the first time in my life. And so I was really proud of myself and the way that things were going. And then I'm late to practice, and I'm on a back road that's really close to my house that I drive every day, and nobody really is ever on that road. I was definitely going over the speed limit to get to practice on time, and I get pulled over. And I didn't have my proper paperwork. Paperwork that I always had was at home in my office instead of in my car where it should have been. And I get these tickets, and the world blew up. I mean, it literally was covered by the top media outlets in the world. And it just was a quick reminder to me that, yeah, Jon, you've come a long way. You've done a lot of things right. You're doing really good. But, there's still a lot of people out there who want to see you crash and burn and never recover. So it just let me know, Jon, you can't afford to do anything. You really have to live as close to perfect as possible. And so, I really made a promise to myself that, nothing would be acceptable. Don't speed, Jon, not even 5 miles over. Do everything as close to perfect as possible because I just can't afford to do anything. I really don't get second chances at this point.
Was the fight in jeopardy at all when that happened?
No, the fight was never in jeopardy. No, the fight was never in jeopardy. No, no, it wasn't. It just wasn't.
Okay. And go ahead.
I was saying I actually just came across some more tickets since this incident I had recently. I actually just got pulled over the other night for drag racing, supposedly. So this is probably going to hit the media really soon. I guess I'll talk about it right now, but before it comes out anywhere else, you can hear it switch for me. So definitely, as fans, get ready to see this whirlwind play out.
Wow. When did this happen?
About I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. This is crazy. So I ended up getting a deferred sentence for not having my proper paperwork, and so I went to court, and the judge told me, Jon, no citations for 90 days, and this will go away off your record. And so, me knowing that, obviously, I'm driving and following the laws, doing what I can to stay out of trouble, and I'm driving up a street called Central here in Albuquerque. I was coming back from a dinner with a lot of my teammates, and I pulled up to a red light, and I had these fans. They rolled down the window, and they're trying to get me to roll down my window. And I guess I wasn't really in the mood to talk, so I revved my engine at them, and they started clapping, and they're smiling, and they're so happy. and the light turns green, and I start driving away, and I literally get pulled over like, I don't know, 10 yards after driving. Get pulled over in a 35-mile-per-hour zone, and the officer pulls me over and tells me that I was drag racing. And I was obviously really upset. And I asked him how was it possible to be drag racing in a 35-mile-per-hour zone. And he said, well, I never said you were speeding, but I'm going to ticket you for drag racing. And knowing that I just got a deferred sentence, knowing that it's the last thing I need to be associated with a drag race, knowing that I wasn't drag racing, I freaked out. I totally freaked out. And so, yeah, this guy ended up giving me, I freaked out pretty much and argued with this officer. And it got pretty heated. And this guy ended up giving me 5 tickets.
What?
He gave me 5 tickets. And
5?
Yeah, it was bullshit, quite frankly.
5 tickets for what?
5 tickets. He gave me a ticket for exhibition of driving. He said that me revving my engine was illegal. And so he gave me exhibition of driving. He gave me drag racing, which is impossible because I was in a 35-mile-per-hour zone. He acknowledged that I wasn't speeding, but he wanted to give me a ticket for drag racing. So, I don't understand how you can drag race for 10 yards under 35 miles per hour and get ticketed for that. So I got a ticket for drag racing. He gave me a ticket for altering my exhaust, which I didn't alter my exhaust. It's completely stock, but he just wanted to throw that on there too. He gave me a ticket because for swerving lanes. He said I broke the dotted line 3 times, which is also simply not true. And then he gave me another ticket he said he couldn't see the registration number at the bottom of my license plate because it was covered up by that, I guess that frame that goes around people's license plates to show where you brought the car from. So it was just excessive. The guy really just picked me. I think it was a DWI cop. He wanted to find a drunk driver, and once he realized I was sober, he needed something to justify pulling me over. So I trying to fabricate this whole thing that I was drag racing, and I'm going to fight it. It's definitely the last thing I need to be going through right before this fight. So I'm going to fight it the best I can because, I simply wasn't drag racing. So got really emotional and said a whole bunch of things I probably should have never said to a police officer. But, getting accused of something, and it really pissed me off. And I definitely regret some of the things I said to the guy, but it'll be coming out here shortly. I'm sure somebody's going to pull a tape of it or something. So, whatever.
Well, I mean, I got to tell you, I am thoroughly impressed that you would be the one breaking this. I don't recall an athlete, who was in a situation like that, breaking the news and getting ahead of it. So, I appreciate you doing it here, and kudos to you on that. And perhaps it's from a lesson learned.
Well, right now, Ariel, my whole life is so public.
Yeah.
Everything I do is so public right now. I'm really walking on eggshells. So I figured, I'll talk about it right now. That way I'm being progressive and not being defensive and trying to, fix a story that I'm sure is going to be, last thing, a Jon Jones drag racing headline is terrible, absolutely terrible. So I talk about it now, get ahead of it, let everybody know what's going on before it actually comes out.
What's going through your mind when you're sitting in your car and this is all unfolding, and like you just said, your life is public, you've had the mistakes, the fight is coming up. Are you panicking? Are you nervous? Is that why you said you're apologetic for some of the things that you said? Are you did you have a panic? What's going through your mind? How are you reacting to all of this?
Well, in the car, I started to panic right away, because here I am. I just got this deferred sentence of, do the right thing for 90 days and your tickets will go away. And so, I had made a vow to myself, not only that I'm going to do the right things because of this deferred sentence, but I'm also trying to get my life together and get my life back on track. And so to get pulled over for trying to acknowledge some fans by, giving them a rev of the engine, which ultimately put a huge smile on these people's face. And then get pulled over 3 seconds later, being accused of drag racing. You know, I felt like I was looking into the face of an absolute liar. And I honestly, I was looking for Ashton Kutcher. I was like, this cannot be, you're joking me, right? You're joking, right? And the guy said, yeah, I can't give you a speeding ticket, but I'm going to give you one for drag racing. I'm like, how is this possible? How do I drag race under 35 miles per hour? I don't get it. And the guy was just really confrontational with me. And so, yeah, I freaked out, man. I lost it. I completely lost it. I said a whole bunch of terrible things to the guy, called him out with his name and stuff like that, things I really regret. But I don't know. I lost my cool. But hopefully we can get past this, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm just really focused on this fight, and I want to let my lawyers really take care of this situation. I'm going to fight it to the very end too, because you know, when you know you're innocent of something, you know, it's not very easy to lay down and take shit when you've done nothing wrong. So I'll let my lawyers handle it, and I'm just going to focus on what I can control, which is the fight, the training, staying focused, staying positive.
So do you feel like they're actually, I mean, you think that you were wronged here. Do you feel, and I'm sure you're a pretty recognizable guy in Albuquerque with a, you know, probably a pretty recognizable car. Do you feel like they're now looking for you because you've had these run-ins? Do you feel like you're, you know?
No, I don't. You know, Albuquerque Police Department, they've been really fair to me. You know, I definitely haven't been the easiest, the greatest citizen, you know, but I'm recognized that, and I've made a lot of huge changes to try to change that and try to do the right things. So, yeah, I'm definitely not calling out, like, state PD for, like, noticing me and choosing to harass me. I actually have a lot of friends in the department and things like that, so I doubt that's the case. I just think this officer in particular was looking for, like, a DWI or something, and you know, thought he'd try to, you know, stick me with one of those, and once he realized I was sober, I just think he, I don't know, man. I don't know if he was in a bad mood or what, but he's definitely a very confrontational guy to talk with and deal with. He never allowed me a chance to talk, or he was just rude and sarcastic the whole time. And things just escalated really fast. So I don't know.
Do you think he knew who you were?
Bad apple. Honestly, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But I think the moment I rolled down my window to talk to the guy, I just think he knew he wasn't going to be giving me I don't know. I just feel like the guy was confrontational from the very first second of the conversation. So,
now, of course,
even then, you know,
yeah.
Then you're supposed to swallow your pride, kind of lay on the sword, and yes sir, no sir. I had a really hard time doing that. This guy just accusing me. I'm like, bro, I'm the last guy you can give a ticket to for a drag race, and like, you don't understand. Like, please don't do this to me. I said to the guy. And he was adamant that he wanted to do what he wanted to do. So gave me 5 tickets, man. And it's little shit, but that's why we're not going to just sit back. We're going to really fight the thing, no matter how long it takes.
By the way, do you have you ever drag raced? Like, is this a thing that you've done in the past that you even?
No.
Okay.
No, I've never drag raced ever. Ever.
Now, of course, people wondering, the fight less than a month away, how does this affect the fight? Is there a chance now that the fight won't happen?
No, I don't think that's the case. You know, it's pretty public that I'm on probation, so I had talked to my probation officer about it right away.
Okay.
And so, you know, I don't think anything's going to be happening there. And you know, like I said, if I was guilty of it, then maybe I could possibly be in some type of trouble. But it doesn't affect the fight at all, especially because I know I'm not guilty, and we're going to fight it. And I just don't think it's going to affect the fight.
Okay. Last question on all of this: is there anything that you know you have to do now, as far as this is, like, do you have an appearance coming up, a court appearance? Like, is this going to be a distraction between now and then? Sometimes I know you get the court appearance, you know, right away. Do you have to deal with this before the fight, or is it going to be after the fight?
I'm not sure. I think I got to go in for some type of hearing. My plan was to send my lawyers to it.
Okay.
Then the actual court date will be like after the fight. So fortunately, I get to, just stay focused on the fight. It is a little bit of a distraction, but like I said, when you know you're innocent of something, you don't need to really worry or stress yourself out about it. So I'm just staying extremely confident and positive about the whole thing, and it makes me feel like I'm getting ready to win that belt back. Like if everything was going smooth and easy sailing, it's like it'd be a little more scary. But having little things, little bumps and little things, it's that little bit of last minute adversity before the battle, just to check your strength, and it's like a mental test for me, So I'm just staying positive and fighting through this little bit of adversity, and I'm sprinting towards the finish line.
By the way, I heard from a lot of people last week about MMA about to be legalized in New York. Weidman, Ratner, everyone talked about it. Endicott's own Jon Jones. I saw a couple tweets. But what was your reaction? Is this now, can we throw your name into that MSG hat? Is this something that is exciting you right now? What's your reaction to this?
Yes, it's very exciting. Very exciting. I've always dreamt of fighting at Madison Square Garden. I'm really excited to do that. It's going to be a huge honor to fight in the same arena as Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, so many other great combatants over the years. But what most excites me is the opportunities to fight in Rochester, New York. I've never done anything in Rochester, and that's where I was actually born. There's a lot of kids in that city who could use my support and could use my presence being there to talk to the schools and visit the Boys and Girls Clubs. And I've always had a certain amount of guilt not giving back enough or giving back anything to where I'm from. So I really want to do that, tap into that, and not only start to do more for that city, but to fight there also. Right now, that's a bigger achievement for me than fighting at the Garden.
Oh, wow.
Fighting at an arena in Rochester. Yeah, giving back in that way.
Wow. Is there a dream fight there that you like this would be the perfect scenario in Rochester, this guy, these stakes? Do you think about that?
No one in particular, no.
Okay.
It's just doing it there for them.
What about getting the belt back and fighting DC and putting this behind you? Have you ever...
Oh, boy. Well, that's my everything, man. I don't know what to say about that. That's everything to me. I mean, I think about it all day, every day. I watch him fight Gustafsson and myself, Anthony Johnson, almost every day, and
Wow.
I have these different thoughts and new ideas coming to mind. What I did wrong last time. If I was DC, what would I do to beat me? And I think about that all the time, and I think I have a pretty good grasp, an idea of what he needs to do differently, and it helps me make proper alterations. I'm just really confident. I'm really confident. I'm definitely more healthy than I've ever been. My cardio and my physical strength and my tactics, just really in tune. And I'm just so excited, man. Really excited. I'm getting all excited just talking about it right now.
Wow. Did he? Did things change? I know that guy, Chai Lewis Perry, his training partner. He was on this show talking. There were some words exchanged between him and your brother and you.
Yeah.
Could it be more personal?
Weird.
What?
That was so weird, that situation. So let me. I'll touch on that real quick.
Sure.
So me at DC, you've seen the little sit down meet Joe Rogan at DC.
Yeah.
And so we were in there. We were talking. Things got heated, but we were calm, cool, collected, both of us. And right when the thing's done, I go outside, and me and my publicist, my manager, we're all talking about how it went. And DC comes out with Bob Cook, his boxing coach, and that giant, whatever his name is, and DC. So it's four of them, four fighters, versus me and my business partners who aren't fighters. And right away, DC goes like, "Oh, you're gonna see, like you're gonna get it." And the first thing I said to him was, DC, man, let's keep this shit professional, man. We got in a fight last time in public. Like, let's chill out, bro. We were just face to face. You could have said whatever you had to say there. And so DC starts chirping at me. I'm not sure exactly what was said. And I started chirping at him back. And then I noticed that the giant, Ty Perry or whatever, he was making little remarks, just snickering, and then his boxing coach was making remarks, just snickering. So I say something like, dude, you're talking all this crap. We got security guards, and you got all your teammates. You got your cheerleading squad here. And so once I said that, the boxing coach right away starts yelling at me, and Ty starts yelling at me. I remember calling him tiny, and I was like, dude, shut up, dude. You guys just get in your car. Get in your car, right? And for me, you know, I look at myself. Self is a bad mofo at the end of the day, and even outnumbered, I have to show that there's no weakness in my heart. And so, even though it's Bob and boxing coach and Ty and DC, I stood there, you know, willing to get jumped if that's what it came down to, and I faced all four of them, letting them know that I will fight all four of you right here in this parking lot. And that's what happened. They ended up getting in their car and driving away. And I guess, you know, the Ty Perry guy ended up doing all these interviews saying that I was the worst person ever. But really, the conversation was between me and DC. And he decided to be a cheerleader and make remarks and snicker over everything DC said, being his little puppet. And so I had to face all four of them. So I said some things to all of them, and I guess they didn't like that. But at the end of the day, I was minding my business, and I was outnumbered. And they ended up walking away with their tails between their legs and with their feelings hurt, all four of them. Well, not Bob Cook. I said nothing to Bob because I would never disrespect somebody's coach. And Bob never said anything to me either. You know, he was smart enough to mind his business. But, you know, whatever.
Okay, let's end on this, Jon. And I appreciate the time, and really I appreciate, you know, what you were talking about earlier and coming out and saying it first. Thank you very much for that. I follow you on social media, and you're in amazing shape. And you were back in November when I saw you. I don't remember you being in this good shape this early before the fight, a month out. You're always in great shape, fight night. But it's an amazing progression that we've seen, especially from the past. Do you think now, can you confidently say you're going to be better on April 23rd than you've ever been? Do you expect that out of yourself all this time, everything you've dealt with? Is that a real possibility? I don't know how it could be possible because, as I said at the top, I consider you the greatest of all time, and I would say that to anyone. But is that a real thing now?
You know, I think I will be better. I think I will be better. Right now, I'm competing at a really high level here in practice. Confidence is a lot higher than ever before because I know that I'm doing the right things. I know that I'm taking it extremely seriously. As far as being in shape, you know, I'm able to do things that I just couldn't do before. I notice when I run mountains and I run sprints up the hill, you know, I got legs under me now that push me up the hill. Before I would work so hard, you know, having no leg muscles. I couldn't push as hard as I wanted to. So now I have a stronger vehicle, you know, to push harder. So I feel like I'm in the best shape I've ever been. Definitely more confident in my jiu-jitsu. Sometimes I have these dreams of tapping out TC. You know, we know that he's going to be shooting in. We know he loves his head outside single. And so we've been working for months on different chokes and just jiu-jitsu. And I really, if I don't submit him somehow, then I believe I'll win by decision. I just think there's no way he's going to be out pushing me and outpacing me. You know, no way. So I feel good. I feel good about this fight. I really feel like I'm going to win this fight and just gotta keep fighting. That's it. Keep fighting, keep moving forward, stay positive.
And isn't it funny after all this time since we spoke, Ronda loses, Conor loses, Sage, all these sort of, you know, golden boys lose that people perceive to be the UFC's golden boy, and it all coincides with the return of the king. You had to have thought of that, right?
It's timing, man. A lot of things are timing. But at the end of the day, I try not to compete with anybody else, man. There's room for all of us to be great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think once you start competing with other stars and finding jealousy in your heart, you know, that's Rashad Evans used to say something. Rashad Evans said to me once, he said, John, I don't wish bad upon you. You know, your star declining doesn't make my star climb any higher. And I always remember that saying, he said. And I've really taken that in. You know, somebody else losing really doesn't make my stock go up. You know, it's like we all are stars in our own right, in our own way. And I try to never, ever have that mindset of competing. So, you know, ironically, yeah, you know, a lot of the Golden Boys have lost, and now I'm returning. So I see how that can give me a sort of momentum in the eyes of, as far as being a star and endorsements and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm not competing with any of these guys. You know, I know what I've done in this sport. And I've beat a lot of amazing fighters, and I don't question myself because I've been out for a while. Pretty confident in who I am.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to do you one favor. Can I get you a driver for the next month? Can we just not drive anymore?
Oh, Ariel got jokes.
Can we just do that? And
Ariel got jokes. You know, that's funny. You know, my buddy Luke Fisher, he usually drives me in between every practice. I'm so glad to have him here. I train and I eat, and I train and I eat. And then I'll see my kids at the very end of the day. And sometimes, you know, I'm so like out of it while I'm driving because I'm just drained, like emotionally and mentally, just drained and consumed by this fight. And so there's been times where I'll literally sit in my car for up to like 45 minutes after a practice because I don't have it mentally to drive my car, being so exhausted. And so having him here with me is another thing that's really allowed me to train even better because I know I can give it my all at each practice and have him there holding the water for me, you know, having a protein shake already ready for me right after my workout. You know, he has the keys to the car. You know, he's driving me to my next workout. He's picking me up for my workouts. And it's just he's been such a valuable piece. So little shout out to Lou for helping me out. And I do have a driver to answer that question.
Good. All right.
Driver.
That is great.
His buddy.
That is great news. Let's rely on him a little more. But in all honesty, I hope that it all works out, that this is, just a little issue, and then we can move along and finally get to see the fight that everyone wants to see. Again, John, best of luck to you, and really appreciate you coming on and talking about this first on this program. That means a lot. I appreciate your trust, and I wish you luck with that. But and obviously, most importantly, the training camp and the fight, April 23rd. I look forward to being there and covering it in person. Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, man. Stay being great, Ariel.
All right. I appreciate that as well. Thank you very much to Jon Jones for stopping by. Wow. Really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff there from Jon Jones. Wow. I did not, I didn't think we'd go in that direction. I can't recall an athlete of his caliber coming out before something hits the quote unquote newswire and actually telling the world that this happened, especially given his history. I mean, if nothing else, who knows what happened? I'm sure a video will emerge, an audio file will emerge. I'm sure they'll have to answer it, and it will be, it will be coming up. There's no doubt about that. But to break it first, when's that ever happen? Wow. Didn't expect that. Obviously, you hope that nothing, illegal was done. You hope that he's not being targeted. And, selfishly as a fan, you hope that the fight is not affected because it's a fight that, as I said, everyone wants to see. Everyone's excited about one of the best rivalries in UFC history. And we're oh so close. We're less than a month away. So you hope that that's not going to be an issue. And you hope that he can, stay out of trouble regardless of whether, you just don't want to get in those situations because you never know what can happen, especially when you're on probation. So, again, I appreciate John coming out and saying it. I think that in its own right says something about the difference in who he is today as opposed to even 6 months ago. You hope it all works out for him and that nothing affects his life, his family, and obviously the fight itself. Again, thank you very much to Jon. What a treat that was. Great to have him on the program.